Tom Tom Club is an American new wave band founded in 1981 by husband and wife team Tina Weymouth and Chris Frantz, both also known for being members of Talking Heads. Their best-known hits include Wordy Rappinghood, Genius of Love, and a cover of The Drifters' Under the Boardwalk, all released on their 1981 debut album Tom Tom Club. History. Formation and debut. Originally established as a side project from Talking Heads, Tom Tom Club comprised a loose aggregation of musicians, sound engineers, and artists of the Compass Point All-Stars family, including Tina Weymouth's sisters and guitarist Adrian Belew, the latter of whom toured with Weymouth and Frantz in the expanded version of Talking Heads in 1980 and 1981. Named after the dance hall in the Bahamas where they rehearsed for the first time while on hiatus from Talking Heads in 1980, Tom Tom Club enjoyed early success in the dance club culture of the early 1980s with the hits Genius of Love and Wordy Rappinghood, both of which were taken from their self-titled first album released on Sire and Warner Brothers Records in the US and Island Records elsewhere in 1981. Genius of Love has been sampled or reinterpreted by many artists, including Trim, Redman, Funk Dubbiest, and Mariah Carey in her hit single Fantasy. It's Nasty by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five was one of the early hip-hop versions of the song. However, the sample was re-recorded by a live band rather than just taken from the original recording, as was common practice at the time. Another version, Genius Rap, by Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, was the first cover version. Max B also sampled Genius of Love in his single Get Outta Jail. Early British pressings of the first Tom Tom Club album featured shorter versions of Genius of Love and Wordy Rappinghood, but to capitalize on the club's success of these songs, Island Records reissued the album with a full 12-inch versions in 1982. A new single, a cover version of The Drifters' Under the Boardwalk, which was the group's second and final UK Top 40 hit, replaced another song Booming and Zooming. The US version did not contain these modifications until the album was released on compact disc in the 1990s. Close to the Bone. The following year, the group released a follow-up, Close to the Bone, which was similar in style to their first album but didn't fare as well, though The Man with the Four-Way Hips was a minor hit on urban radio in the US. The album was released on cassette and vinyl and was not released on CD until May 2009, as part of a deluxe edition package of Tom Tom Club's first album. The original British vinyl album was released in 6 different colors. One of the album's singles, Pleasure of Love, was sampled in Turning You On, by the Treacherous Three. As it happened with It's Nasty, the sample was re-recorded by a live band rather than just taken from the original recording. Genius of Love was featured in the 1984 Talking Heads concert film Stop Making Sense. Frantz and Weymouth were credited as Tom Tom Club, but in this case the band was simply the Talking Heads minus David Byrne. Boom Boom Chi Boom Boom and Dark Sneak Love Action. There was then a 4-year gap until the band's next album, the first version of Boom Boom Chi Boom Boom, released in 1988. By this stage, the band's non-US deal with Island had expired and the album was released outside the US on Fontana Polygram. On the album, the group adapted a more conventional rock style with a harder-edged sound and a hint of menace in the lyrics of some songs. The group's lineup was also solidified along more conventional commercial lines. Whereas the previous 2 albums had been recorded by a loose collective of a dozen musicians, the band was now reduced to the trio of Weymouth, Frantz, and Weymouth's sister Laura Weymouth. There were, however, a number of prominent guest musicians on the record, including Lou Reed and Talking Heads frontman David Byrne on a cover of Reed's Femme Fatale. The 4th member of Talking Heads, Jerry Harrison, also featured on some tracks. As with Close to the Bone, the album was not a commercial success although Sub-Oceania received some radio play, mainly in the UK, and the single Don't Say No made the UK Top 100. The album was the first Tom Tom Club album to be issued on CD and the Japanese CD version featured an added bonus track, the B-side Devil, Does Your Dog Bite?, which was also featured on the soundtrack to the film Married to the Mob. Sub-Oceania was also remixed for dance clubs by house music pioneer Marshall Jefferson. The following year, In a bid to recapture the attention of the U.S. market, the group and Sire Records decided to issue a radically altered version of the album in the U.S. The U.S. version of Boom Boom Chi Boom Boom replaced 4 songs with 4 others, one of which, I Confess, was a total overhaul of the original album's Mighty Teardrop. The running order of the rest of the album was shuffled while the artwork was revamped. However, the changes had little effect on the album's U.S. commercial success. In 1991, Frantz and Weymouth built the Clubhouse, a painting and music studio, over their garage near Gamecock Island, Connecticut. In 1992, they released the 4th Tom Tom Club album, Dark Sneak Love Action, which included a cover of Hot Chocolate's You Sexy Thing. The album focused on the burgeoning techno music scene. A single, Sunshine and Ecstasy, featured remixes by Roger Sanchez. The Good, the Bad, and the Funky and Present Activities the group's next album, The Good, the Bad, and the Funky, was released in 2000 and featured cover versions of Donna Summer's Love to Love You Baby, and Lee Scratch Perry's Soul Fire. One of the album's tracks, Who Feelin' It, was also featured in remixed form in the soundtrack album of the 1999 film American Psycho. Among the musicians on The Good, the Bad, and the Funky are Jamaican singer Mystic Bowie, Charles Pettigrew and Toots Hibbert of Toots and the Maytals. The album's release was followed by 1 European and several American tours. In 2002, Frantz and Weymouth, along with their former Talking Heads bandmates, were inducted at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. A complete live concert was released in 2003 on the double CD Live at the Clubhouse, recorded at Tom Tom Club's regular hideout studio, the Clubhouse in Connecticut, in front of an audience of 50 guests. Tom Tom Club has been doing incidental live shows since. In 2007, the band released a special Christmas single called Missile Tunes, containing 2 specially recorded Christmas songs, Listener Copyright, and Christmas in the Club, which featured Mystic Bowie and Scratcher turntablist Kid Ginseng. The single was released by Dutch indie label La La Land Records, which was founded by the former Tom Tom Club merchandise crew. In 2009, a deluxe expanded edition of the band's first album was released, with Close to the Bone added on disc 2. That marked the first time the latter was ever released on CD in its entirety. On September 28, 2010, the band released Genius of Live on National Records. The album featured tracks from the album Live at the Clubhouse as well as remixed tributes of Genius of Love by such artists as Ozomat Lee, Nautk Collective, Kinky, Mexican Institute of Sound, Money Mark and the Pinker Tones. Their first studio material in 12 years, Downtown Rockers, was released in 2012 on National Records. Discography Studio albums Live albums 2003, Live at the Clubhouse, 2010, Genius of Live. Singles See also, List of number 1 dance hits, List of artists who reached number 1 on the US dance chart. References. External links, official website, Tom Tom Club on Facebook, Tom Tom Club on Twitter, Tom Tom Club collection at the Internet Archive's Live Music Archive.